Hey guys, welcome to sportsbookreview.com. Natalie Rydstrom here. Roland Garros 2018 draw has been released, and two of the big names in tennis have been dealt two different draws. As a result, the odds have since shifted since our pre-draw preview. Now, is there still value on the outrights? Who did the draw favour and who did it hinder? Well, here to discuss this and more is Martin and Nigel Seeley. Boys, welcome to the show.
Hey, good evening.
Now, the draw seems to have been most unkind to Serena Williams. We were talking just before this show, and Nigel, you said, she's not a contender, but we've got to talk about Serena Williams. Her odds have since, they've lengthened. They've gone from something like 13 to 15. She has been dealt a very difficult draw. Is this where the road stops for her, this first match? Can she get past this first hurdle, Nigel?
She can get past first hurdle, but the thing is, it's all about her motivation. She should be a favourite to get first. It's all about her motivation. She's a player that pulled out last week in Italy, in Rome. So it's citing that she had a shoulder injury, and then she was at the royal wedding with George Clooney's missus. So that's really not the ideal preparation for someone who's going into a French Open when Svetlana and Halep are producing some of the best tennis at the same time where she's dancing away to Stormzy or wherever she was on the night of the wedding party. The thing is, she's unseeded. I mean, she's only played 4 games this year. She's lost 2 of them. One against her sister, one against Osaka. And when you're unseeded, you are going to come across in a tough draw. I mean, and that's what she's been handed. She's an unseeded player. But saying that, if she is in the second week, which I think is a big if, nobody will want to face her. No one will want to face her. And I think she'll get better and better as the tournament goes on if she survives the tournament. But I don't think she survives the first 2 matches. I think she'll go early.
Yeah.
I think she's never been someone who's been comfortable in Paris. She's never been someone who likes playing the clay courts. But if she does survive that, then she could go deep. But she plays Pliskova, not Christiana Pliskova, not the seeded player, and then Ashley Barty, the Australian.
Yeah.
It's all about her confidence. If she plays her in the second round, she might be frightened because she sees Serena Williams at the other end of the court. But I think she's a likely first round, second round exit. Don't think she'll make week 2, but if she does, we'll have a conversation with you next week and say she's a potential winner.
Yeah. Do you know if there's any? I was trying to have a look. Do you know if there's any specials that you can bet for her to lose in, say, the first or second round? Are those bets out yet?
Well, obviously the first round is just for her to lose the game would be to back the other girl, and then the second round, but I mean, she's being priced up on history. I mean, really, she's well out in the top 400 in the world now. I mean, she's only played how many games this year? Was it 4 games in 2018? Yeah. The days of Serena Williams rocking up and winning tournaments like this in Grand Slams are long gone. The players have caught up with her. She's past her best. There's a lot of young players coming through. The only thing she has in her experience is experience. Sorry, in her factor is experience. So if she goes into the second week, that is when experience tells, and that's where Grand Slam winning form comes into account. But for me, she's going to go the first week. But like I say, if she's around about in the second week, she could find some form quite easy. But her preparation has been atrocious. And her form this season is though she's completely given up on tennis. She's had a baby, wants to settle down, wants a family, and I think tennis is second at the moment. And there's a lot of young girls out there who tennis is number 1.
Yeah, I like that if as well. Martin, obviously reading your article over at oddsmarket.com. Do check it out. It is the talking about the draw. You think Serena will win this first match?
Oh, no, I'm not sure, Natalie. I think there's actually value in opposing Serena Williams in this first round. You have to remember that her opponent, Pliskova, went all the way to the semi-finals in the French Open last year. I think there's actually value to be had in opposing her. She, as Nigel said...
That's not Pliskova. That's not that Pliskova, though. There's 2 Pliskovas. That's not the Pliskova who got to the semi-finals. There's 2 Pliskovas. The Pliskova who got to the semi-finals is another girl. She's the number 6 seed. This girl's an unseeded. There's 2 Pliskovas. She's not the girl who got to the semi-final. This girl's a proven player, but she's ranked sort of in the top 70 in the world. She's not the same girl. So be very, very careful on that one.
Right. Okay. Well, then maybe you never know. But I don't think Serena Williams is going to make it far in this tournament. She admitted that she has not returned to her best since playing last year. Sorry, are we live with it?
We are live.
Okay, great. Well,
That's all
um,
right. That's all right. Listen, I can ask you another question. We can move on. The next question is obviously the draw has not been kind to Serena Williams. Is there any other players that the draw has been unkind to, would you say, Martin?
yeah, I think it's difficult for Dominic Thiem and Alexander Zverev to be on the same side of the draw. They might have liked to meet in the final once again. It's been very kind to Rafa Nadal. He's
Yeah.
avoided all of the big names on his side of the draw. He looks to have a very, very clear route to the final.
Yeah.
I think he would be laughing after looking at that, whereas TM and Zverev look to be on a real collision course here. I think they're the only two that might be able to stop him, and there's going to be fireworks when those two meet. As for the women's side of the draw, don't think Serena Williams is going to make it very far, to be honest. She might get out of the first round, but I think there's definitely going to be plenty of value in opposing her. She's already lost to Venus Williams, a player that she normally dominates. She's already lost to the unheralded Osaka on her comeback. She's had 4 games since returning from pregnancy, and she's lost 2 of them. And her body's been through such a rigorous process. To have even made it back now is very commendable. It's great that she's trying, but I think maybe the US Open or next year's Australian Open are going to be more realistic targets for her. I think there's going to be value in opposing her. I think there's a few, maybe Garbine Muguruza, someone like that is going to have a better, or Alina Svitolina is going to have a better chance of winning the women's tournament.
Yeah. Now, obviously, number one, Simona Halep, the draw has been very kind to, playing Alison Risqué in round 1. Her price has remained 7, but we know that her biggest opponent is often herself. Do you think that Halep will make it through to the final, Nigel?
Well, like you say, the draw's been kind. I don't think the draw has been kind. She's got Mertens in the last 16, who statistically is the best clay court player this season. She's got Carolina Garcia, who's probably the fastest improving player as a potential quarter finalist. She's got some very, very tough matches in there. But what she does is she's the ultimate flat track bully, Halep. She beats all the people that she's expected to beat. And when she gets to a final, she gets to the final, she crumbles, as we said in the preview show. I think the women's draw is littered with absolute quality all the way through. Quarter 1 is quality through. Quarter 3 is absolute quality. Quarter 4 it's got potential 6 people who can go through that draw. I mean, Ostapenko. But the quarter that I think you want to concentrate on is the quarter with Svitolina. I think that's the weakest part of the draw by a mile. I think, you've got Ostapenko in that section. Ostapenko, since winning this title last year, has been in dreadful form.
Yeah.
You've got Venus Williams, who can't play on clay. Joanna Konta can't play on clay. You've got Madison Keys, who can't play on clay. You've got Azarenka as a dangerous floater, who could probably play Ostapenko in the second round, former world number 1. So that is definitely the section of draw where you want to concentrate on looking for the winner. But the women's draw, like I said before, there's 15 or 16 potential winners of this tournament. There really is, and it's littered with anybody. And the second week, you're going to get so many games. Yeah. Where they're going to be 2.0 the pair, 1.8. You're not going to get clear-cut favourites. And I think experience will come into the factor. So Angelika Kerber, former world number 1. People who've won Grand Slams are massively, massively important in this. And that's where Svitolina and Halep, despite dominating tennis over the last few years, they don't have that big game experience that other players do. So I think if you're backing those two players, I think Svitolina, the draw is perfect. But Halep especially, never won a Grand Slam, 3 finals, 3 defeats, and temperament-wise, best game in the women's game by a mile. But temperament, for the talent in the game, 100%. For the temperament, 0%.
Yeah. Yeah. Martin, who do you predict as well that will make a deep run from the women's side right now? Who do you predict will make a deep run?
I think the women's side of the tournament is fascinating right now. Yeah. There are so many upsets to be had. I mean, last year, an unseeded player won the French Open for the first time since 1933. That just shows you how predictable it is. I think Serena Williams getting pregnant and leaving the game has blown the whole side of the tournament wide open. And there's great deal of value to be had backing the outsiders on match betting throughout the tournament. In terms of who will make it far, it's very difficult to say because so many of them are unpredictable. Muguruza won it in 2016. She really could go far. Harlep has done very, very well. She's got to the final a couple of times. But like Nigel says, I'm a bit worried about her temperament, and the odds are too short for me to really consider backing her. I think Daria Kasatkina could do very well. She's a good longer shot for me. And Angelique Kerber even could go on a little run. There's a deal of value. For me, I won't be looking for the futures in the Women's French Open just because I think it's far too unpredictable. I'll be looking to match betting on a day-by-day basis. And I think there's a great deal of value to be had in underdogs. You get so many upsets in the women's tournament right now, every time. And you can do game handicap betting. And I'll always be looking at the underdogs, giving them a plus handicap and seeing how I can get along, because I think you're going to see a lot of upsets once again in this tournament. There are no clay specialists among women that really stand out, apart from Svitolina. Don't think Sharapova is going to do very well. And I think it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, funnily enough, for two different reasons. The outrights, I think, are generally going to be avoided. And you talk about playing like game by game. I think this is also an excellent opportunity, certainly on the women's side as well, for in-play betting. But moving over to the men's side now, obviously tournament favourite and king of clay, Rafael Nadal has been handed a fantastic draw. As I was mentioning before, he's avoiding Dominic Thiem, Alexander Zverev, Novak Djokovic, Kai Nishikori, David Goffin, who are all on the other side of the draw. He's basically got a pretty clear route to the final. So his odds, we've seen have dropped. They've gone from 1.46 to 1.4. Now, obviously, Martin, you weren't here for the pre-draw video, but we were sort of saying that there was other ways that we can play Nadal, for example, not to drop a set or anything like that. With this clear path now to the final, this is even looking more realistic. And Nigel, I know you you discussed a few. Are you even more confident now about the sort of not to drop a set with Nadal, these sort of specials now that we can play with Nadal? Are you more confident to play those?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Nadal is an absolute certainty, barring injury, to get to the final of the French Open. And it's a question of who he plays in the final. There is absolutely no question that he can not get to the final. And the only person who could beat Rafa Nadal this week is Rafael Nadal. That's the fact. The problem, I'll give you some stats about him, but he's won this tournament 10 times. He's won 55 clay court tournaments. His record at Roland Garros is 79-2. He hasn't lost here in 9 years. He's won it 10 times. In 3 times he's won it. He's won it without dropping a set. I'll give you his draw. He's won 45 consecutive clay court matches this season until he got beat by Dominic Thiem, and he lost 107 games in those 4. So he's averaging losing 2 games or 3 games a match. The guy is just in a different level, and lots of 1.4 people will turn around and say, "Oh, 1.4." When I do the football show, we don't tip anything other than 1.6 or 1.7. If 1.4 is value, 1.4 is value, and I'll give you the record. The first game he plays, Dolokopov, the Ukrainian guy, is 1-66 to win that game. In the second round, he plays Pella or Sousa. He'll be 1-66 to win that game. In the third round, he plays Shapovalova. The only time he played him on clay, won 6-4, 6-1. He'll be around 1-40 to win that game. Then he plays Kevin Anderson, a guy he beats 5-0 in Kregtorets. And then he plays Marian Cilic. He'll be about 25-1 on. He's only time they play on clay is 1-6-1, 6-3. In the final, he plays anyone in the final, he'll be 8 on. You work the odds out in all those matches to get to the final. He works down to 1.4, 1-4. He's a 1.25 shot if you work these match odds. The guy is just on a different level, and there's no opposing him. The only way you got to look at it is each way value in the bottom half of the draw, and that fourth section with Thiem, Wawrinka's coming back to form. You've got Zverev, you've got Djokovic in that fourth quarter. You've got to look on the third quarter. The third quarter, you could get a big price runner who's going to get to the semi-final for you. And that's where you've got to concentrate. But at the prices, there was a bookmaker in the UK. He done a price boost today. He went 7-1, Nadal, to win and not drop a set. Yeah. And that's just, to me, 3 times he's done it in 10 years. 10 times he's won this tournament, and 3 times he's won it. Hasn't lost here for 9 years. And if you get 7-1, that is just ridiculous value. Yeah. And that's just absolutely fantastic. So I think That's the bet you've got to take.
Yeah. What bookmaker was that with?
It was Sky Bet. It was they done a price boost, but I mean it's restricted to £10 or £20. But if you just do it, I mean he's not going to drop a set till he gets to the final. There's no way. I mean none of these. I looked at the price. He's 9 on to win. To win so 9 to 1 on to win in straight sets in the first round, 7 to 1 on generally. If you work the 7 on, it comes in about 2 to 1 that he wins in straight sets. And also you got the other thing you got to remember is in the bottom half of the draw, it's so much harder. So whoever he plays in the final is going to be on court for him at least 50, 100 games more than him because he's going to win so easy. Team or Zverev is going to come through a 6-hour marathon to get to the final. Once they play Nadal, he'll be off court in an hour and 20 minutes every single game. Just to me, it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, someone's certainly been doing their homework, Nigel. I have to say those are some good stats there. Martin, Nadal to win and not drop a set, 7 to 1. Is that a bet you might be tempted on?
I'm afraid I can't see it, to be honest. I think he's going to go.
He's done it 3 times, Mike. He's done it 3 times. He's done it 3 times, and he's never started a tournament ever odds on.
I understand that, but at the age of 31, I think the days of him winning without dropping a set might be over. I understand that he's just
come on the back. Last week, he come off. He got beat by Dominic Thiem, right? He went 46 games on clay without dropping a set. Yeah, but
I appreciate that. But Dominic,
that's all right. Martin's allowed his opinion, though, isn't he? So if he thinks, I'm make a very strong point.
I'm just saying that the thing is, he's 31 years of age, yeah. But the thing is, there's no one coming through. His nearest competitors is Roger Federer, who's 38. I mean, there's no talent coming through in tennis. You know, the world number 1's 38. The world number 2's 31. This just state of men's tennis.
Roger Federer's 36. Let's not age him too much.
36, 36.
It's very fortunate for Nadal in this tournament that his chief rivals are out of the picture. Roger Federer doesn't bother to play the clay court season anymore because he's so convinced that Nadal's going to win it. He preserves his body for the grass court season. Andy Murray continues to be injured. Novak Djokovic is struggling for form and fitness. Ditto Stan Wawrinka. Kai Nishikori's not going to do anything. The only 2 players that have really got a chance against him are Dominic Thiem and Alexander Zverev. I think one of those 2 probably will come up against him in the final because Del Potro has got his injury problems. David Goffin hasn't really impressed. And I just have a sneaking suspicion that one of them will take a set off him somewhere along the way. Can't see anyone stopping Nadal lifting the trophy above his head by the end of the tournament. But I think he will drop a set in the process. He's not infallible. He has shown that Dominic Thiem beat him. He's a fantastic clay court player. I think he's going to beat most of these young players before they've even got on the court mentally. He's going to have a very clear run to the final. I mean, if you're staking £10 on it and you get a 7 to 1 price boost, why not? Yeah. But if you're thinking you're going to put hundreds and hundreds of pounds on him winning the tournament without dropping a set, personally, I'm going to advise you against doing that.
Yeah. Well, then the question is, Nigel was sort of saying that, even though the odds can be 1.4, there can still be value on that. Would you put $100 right now on I was going to say Nadal to win?
I won't win the French Open.
For Nigel to
win. Mixed doubles. I might win.
No, for Nadal to win the French Open. Would you put $100 on that 1.4?
But yeah, I would absolutely.
I'm more of a grass man.
I mean, like Nigel said, his record at Roland Garros is 79 to 2. He's won 79, he's lost 2. He's won it in 10 of the last 13 years. And the only 3 years that he didn't win were when he was struggling with injuries or he was in strange form. Right now, all of his chief competitors are out of the way. The young players coming through haven't proven that they can do it in the Grand Slams yet. I just can't see anyone beating him to the title. I feel like he might drop a set or 2 along the way, but I think he's definitely going to win it. I'll put £100 on that right now. You make 40 quid. I mean, it's quite you have to wait 3 weeks
beer
or
and
so.
A burger down the pub. Why not? With the winnings, celebrate Nadal's. And then to the obviously you briefly mentioned though, but obviously there's other outrights. Who will make it to the final? Is there anybody that gets your money right now? Is it too early to say? I think you mentioned
Before
TM and Zverev.
Yeah, before the draw was made, I thought Del Potro had a very good chance, but he's been struggling with injury. I'm not sure he's going to make it. He's in the wrong half of the draw. It's a toss-up for me between Zverev and TM. Although having said that, neither of them has ever made the final of a Grand Slam. But they are the only two that really can stop Federer. I feel like Dominic TM is Rafa Nadal's heir apparent as the clay on court. He's the only exceptionally good clay court specialist among the younger generation. But having said that, Alexander Zverev just beat him recently. So he's a very good player, 21 years old, but he's playing with a lot of confidence. I'll go with Zverev.
Yeah, he's certainly a player to watch as well in the upcoming time. A final question there to you, Nigel. Who do you see Nadal facing off in the final?
I think it's, well, if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Dominic Thiem. And, you know, the only reason why is because he's got 2 French Open semi-final appearances here in the last 2 years, so he knows that the occasion. The only problem with Zverev is I still think Zverev is a grass court player. He's 6'6". He's got a massive serve. His ground strokes are big. I think he'll be a major force at Wimbledon, and I still don't think he knows his natural best ability at court. I mean, he's had some brilliant results this season, but I still think and my biggest concern is he's never got past the last 16 of a Grand Slam. Mm-hmm. That is, to me, a big, big worry. And he's lost against, when he's fancied, he's lost against players he shouldn't have lost to. So that would be a worry for me. Dominic Thiem, but in that bottom half, there's so many decent players. And if Stan Wawrinka hits a bit of form, I mean, he's a proven winner. He's seeded. He made his comeback. He looked very good in his comeback. If he can get going, I mean, he can beat anyone with his backhand and the way he plays on clay. I mean, he is a natural clay court player through and through. But I just look at it and I just think that my only reservation is that, especially in that quarter, those players are going to come through some real long, tough games. I mean, clay court tennis is exhausting. It's tough. It's hard. It's grueling. Every point is a 20 rally. Every point is hard. It's a long graft. And if Thiem plays Zverev in the quarterfinal, which they will like because they're both in the fourth quarter, that gives a huge advantage to someone in the third quarter like Goffin or someone to come through. And just what we're thinking now, we might make a case for those. Yeah. But if they come through a 5.5 hour 5-setter and the guy they're playing in the semi-final has done the job in an hour and 40 minutes, I think that's a huge advantage. So I'm quite worried about that bottom half because I think it's very hard. But I disagree slightly with mine on the Nadal factor, the fact that the points to game, because I just think he's going to play so many games that he's going to win easy. And I think the other players are going to be absolutely out of their legs when they play Nadal, and that's the worst thing you can do. And I think he can win this very, very, very easily. Very, very easily.
Yeah. Certainly, it's very interesting. The French Open, as it stands, both on women's and men's, certainly going to make for a very exciting tournament. We will be back tomorrow to preview the first round of picks there. It's like 10:30 a.m., which I think is 12:30 p.m. Eastern time for those who want to come and join in. But some sound advice from both Martin and Nigel there. Really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you to everybody who was watching. So Nigel, Martin, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.
Take care. Thanks.